Dawn, I think you think Channel 4 are right to basically to show these tapes and give us the full story. Why do you think that's right? Why so?
I think, first of all, there's a really huge public interest in Diana. We saw that in 1987. We still see it now. She's a huge pull for people. They're fascinated by her. They're fascinated by what happened to her in life, and also exactly how different she was to the royals. And I think, for me and many other people, I think that she felt stage managed in life. She felt really, really cloistered and bound by the royal family. And I think that this gives us a chance to learn a little bit more about her, learn a little bit more about what she maybe would like to have said if she hadn't been in such a kind of,
So are people trying to stop Channel 4 doing it? Are they the ones trying to control the media, or trying to control Diana? Or does it matter what Diana thought would be happening to these tapes when she recorded them, or what she wanted at the time?
I think it's very difficult to say what she may have wanted to be put out there, but I think that in death, obviously we have a huge interest in her, and equally, there's so much we don't know about her that maybe people want to know. And I think the fact that she was speaking to somebody else about it, that she was preparing for Panorama and clearly wanted to get some of this stuff out there, is maybe a hint that that she wanted more of her personal life out there.
Tracy, I mean, let's be honest. NBC have shown a lot of this in the States. You can track it down if you want to, so it's not quite as sort of unknown as it might be. Do you see any historical significance or anything that we'll learn from watching this Channel 4 programme?
Well, as Dawn said, there isn't much new in terms of revelations, but I think the point is that they weren't necessarily intended for broadcast, and I do think that it's inappropriate. And certainly when you look at them as historical documents, the National Archives wouldn't release anything unless sensitivity checks had been carried out, and that includes the effect on living persons. Well, of course, there are still some significant others of Diana who this will affect quite deeply, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're thinking of the children or Charles?
I'm thinking of the children more. And so, I understand that there was talk of making a documentary of this 10 years ago, and it was shelved. Well,
the BBC had in fact looked at doing this and then backed out, I think, when they saw what a minefield it was. But Dawn, I mean, does it matter to you that the brother, the kids, I mean, basically everybody who does speak for Diana, or who might say they do because they're family, nuclear family, not royalty, but nuclear family, if they say we don't want this stuff just aired in public, does that not matter?
I think public interest is key here. I think that the families themselves can protect themselves from it. But equally, I mean, when I was at university, I read James Joyce's kind of salacious letters to his wife, and he probably didn't want them to be in the public domain, but they are, and they form part of what we think of Joyce as a character and what we think of Joyce as a public figure. So I think that, often what we don't expect to be in the public domain will be afterwards, because there is so much public interest in people.
And is there a time thing here then? I mean, what is the National Archive there's a 30-year rule.
There's a 30-year rule, but only when sensitivity checks are being carried out. But the great irony is we've got more and more restrictive. I mean, when you look at the history of private life, the Tudors, for example, they laid it all bare, and gladly so. They wanted to boast about their marital relations.
They were like Scaramucci, sort of, let's just say what we think.
It's very topical. They would have just wanted their subjects to take an interest in their love lives in all forms.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder whether you keep saying public interest. It's the distinction between interest of the public and the public interest, isn't it, Dawn? And whether there really is a public interest in this.
No, I think for many, Diana symbolised a kind of sea change in British society. So moving from a kind of more historical, restrained sort of national character to one that was more open. It was tied in with the advent of Blair. So I think that people are very, very interested in how she stood at the crux of history.